Today's adventure brings us to Hollywood, California, starting off here with a very good view of the iconic sign where in 1932 a young actress by the name of Peg Entwistle leaped off the H. She did not survive, which was her intention, which has caused her to go down in history as the only person to perish by plummeting from this structure. Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here. My goal today is to basically retrace her steps on once she moved to Los Angeles, the events leading up to that evening and beyond. And I want to show you all the different spots around the city that you could visit on your own or vicariously through this video. Join me, shall you? Heading over to where some people say Peg first lived when she moved to LA. There's not a lot of evidence and proof backing this up, but I figured I'll check it out anyhow. This once was the studio club where lots of starlets once resided. Everyone from Marilyn Monroe to Barbara Eden, even Sharon Tate lived behind these walls. It was placed on the National Registry of Historical Places in 1979, and even though it's not currently used for its original purpose, the YMCA still owns it. You never know, she could have possibly set up residence here just for a short while, even though there's no proper documentation online about it. I could see it happening. This is a printout of a pamphlet they gave the residents upon being here. Where I'm located is right in the middle, and you can see how it stretches out with different lines leading to all the different studios, implying that if they lived here, they might get a job at the studio at Universal or Culver City or even Glendale off to the far right. Everything within a short distance. It's always neat to match up these old photographs then and now. And the floral arrangement above the archways is still here all these years later, as seen right there in this picture. Slightly better view, you can see the detail all along there of the flowers. Small trees out front are no longer there. Of course, the palm trees still are, but the two that were in front of the entryway are gone. But this little alcove with this side entrance and stairwell, it still looks the same also. In fact, there it is, tucked away right over there. About 5 miles from this point, heading to the Belasco Theater downtown. And I'm sitting in traffic, but I got a pretty good view of this classic truck. And it was here, starting at the end of May for about 2 weeks, a play by the name of The Mad Hopes ran that she was a part of the same year that she passed away. It also starred Humphrey Bogart and Billy Burke, best known for The Wizard of Oz. And even though it was critically acclaimed, she wanted a taste of the big screen. She wanted to be in films, which will take us to our next spot. I'm just gonna stand here for a moment though and check out the craftsmanship on the side of this building. Pretty cool. And even more detail on the side of this entry gate, the wrought iron and concrete that is formulated into little faces that stretch all the way up the side. They don't make them like this much anymore. Commuting north out of downtown towards Hollywood proper, where our story continues. Her break came when Radio Pictures, which eventually became RKO Pictures, cast her in a movie by the name of 13 Women. This was her big chance. Her name in lights, her face on the silver screen, and that building still remains. Production facilities way back then and current day, as you can see, looks basically the same with the exception of the radio tower emitting from the top of the globe, but the Earth is still up there. This property and this building is now owned by Paramount Studios. But before the movie's final release, they showed it to some test audiences and ended up deciding they needed to cut some scenes, most of which were hers. That the majority of what she had filmed was cut from the final film, which progresses the story directly towards the Hollywood sign. On Friday, September 16th, she walked up Beechwood Drive, that I'm currently standing on, after telling her uncle, who she had been staying with at this home, that she was going to the store, when in reality, she had other plans. In such close proximity to the final destination, you have to wonder how often or for how long she contemplated doing it while she was staying here. Certainly not very discreet. Step out the front door and it's right there in your face. I should probably get out of the road though, because there's a truck coming. As you can tell, this is a very popular area for people that try to get a photograph. Everyone just kind of mills about in the road and tries to get their photograph. Perfectly lined up. Back then, the lettering spelled out Hollywoodland, used to promote a housing development below it. The land, of course, in this current day, has been removed, which makes me wonder if she would have jumped off the L, the A, the N, or the final D, would the legend be as strong? Makes you wonder. But she chose the H, and the reason for that is there was a ladder accessible around the back side that she was able to climb, and she dove head first off the top of it. And you might think, well, that would not injure you to the point of death. But in reality, these are very, very tall. You can barely see some people up on the top of that hill, which shows the size comparison between a 6-foot person and the enormity and height of that sign. I've placed her photograph here in this bush, just below where it happened. A little folklore here in the Hollywood Hills. Some say her ghost still haunts the premises. If you believe that sort of thing, I could definitely see where people would lean towards that. Some say her perfume can be smelled in this area at certain times of the evening. Not a bad view from up here, looking the opposite direction towards Los Angeles, off in the haze. It's a nice breeze up here as well. And I'm going to take this with me, because I think that would be classified as littering. The woman who found the body wanted to remain anonymous, so she took Peg's shoes, the note, and her jacket and laid it on the steps of the police department, later alerting them that she had placed them there at the base of the entryway. And as you can see, quite a few changes have happened on that corner since then. The address is the same, but the facade is considerably different. However, after looking at this, it appears as if the stairwell is kind of in the same spot. Yeah, right there. That's where she would have laid the items. Of course, it's not the same stairs, but same general vicinity. The bottom of the note was initialed PE, and it was a little bit of confusion what it stood for at first, until her uncle identified the body, and the mystery was solved. The news spread as far as New York City. Actress ends life by jumping off 50-foot sign after failure in movies. The funeral would have been held here on the left, where this apartment building now stands, but back then it was home to Struthers Mortuary. In fact, both the buildings in this photo are now demolished, but the mortuary was right there on the corner of Argyle and Hollywood Boulevard. That was then, back in the past, you know, before they demolished it. And this is now, current day. Slightly different look, wouldn't you say? After the funeral, her body was moved just a few blocks over to a cemetery that is now known as Hollywood Forever. There, she was cremated and her ashes not placed there. That is not the final resting place. They were sent to Glendale, Ohio, and laid next to her father. And this leads me to one last spot, the former Max Factor building. Now, the Hollywood Museum has a couple artifacts pertaining to the subject matter. There it is, the final piece of the puzzle. That is a chunk of the original H. And a little information has been placed here as well, with a photo of Peg, stating here on display an original piece of the Hollywoodland sign, the H, before its reconstruction in 1978, which means that that would have been one of the last things she saw before her death. The note she left stated, quote, "I am afraid, I am a coward, I'm sorry for everything. If I had done this a long time ago, it would have saved a lot of pain." She was only 24 years old. Rumor has it that her uncle received a letter in the mail the next day offering her a lead role in a play. Here's some more documentation of Struthers' funeral home. Right there, circa 1939, catty corner to the Pantages, Hollywood Boulevard. And you can see, definitely not the security measures they have in this day and age. Now there's a fence all around it. But you could just walk right up to it at that point. Completely accessible to all. That's gonna do it for today. If you enjoyed this video, or the channel, or this particular type of content in general, give it a thumbs up. It lets me know you care. And if you're new here, please subscribe. By doing so, helps keep you in the loop and up to date on future adventures I will be going on, endeavors, and uploads that will happen on this channel. Take it a step further and ring that notification bell. It helps keep you in the loop. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over. I'm going to show this lastly, just to see if anyone knows the connection between Bette Davis and Peg Entwistle. Anyone?